Hello and welcome to another episode of Thrive Themes Chats. Today we are going to be talking about how to use ChatGPT for online marketing, which is a super hot topic these days, and hopefully this chat will help you save a little bit of time with marketing your own business. On the podcast today, we have Matt, who is the marketing manager here at Thrive Themes. We also have Tony, one of our marketing specialists. By the way, if you missed his recent video on creating a website using ChatGPT, you should definitely check that out. And as a special treat, we also have Arno, who is our video editor, and I would say he's a director as well. So Arno, I'm so happy that our audience finally gets to meet you because you are the one who makes our videos look and sound great. And by the way, I'm Christine and I'll be your host for this episode. I'll be playing the role of someone new to ChatGPT and I'll be asking all of the burning questions that you guys want answers to. All right, so let's dive right in and let's talk about what exactly is ChatGPT. Who would like to start us off? Arno, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I think most of us already heard from ChatGPT in the last couple of weeks, like painfully a lot. It's pretty difficult to not have heard about it. But in simple terms, ChatGPT is a type of artificial intelligence called deep learning. It's been trained on massive amounts of data. I think it was like 170 billion parameters they used for it, mainly consisting of books, websites, articles. So it is a really diverse training set. And what it does with that training set is when you give ChatGPT an input, it uses all that information to generate a response for you. And it does it by some complex mathematical thing. But what it comes down to is it predicts the most likely words to form a sentence. That's kind of why it generates responses that feel human-like. It's not really human. So I think that's like the 2-minute version of it.
Now, it's not a Google search though, right?
No. I think it's important to understand that it's not connected to the internet. It's been trained on data up until 2021. So, for example, it doesn't know anything about the war in Ukraine, for example. And it doesn't know who the president of the United States is at this time. Keep that in mind when asking questions at ChatGPT.
Yeah. I think he does know who the president of the U.S. is because I think he got elected around 2021. But that was a great definition. I think the 5-year-old definition that I'd like to give out is that ChatGPT is what Jarvis is for Tony Stark in the Iron Man movies. It's literally like a super smart assistant, and it is so cool. It's like like Arno said, it's not connected to the internet, but in a way, it's even more powerful than Googling for things because it's like being able to talk to Google in a way. Like you don't actually have to type out something in Google and look for the information that you're trying to learn from or learn about. It's like actually asking someone for a specific data point and getting it in about 2 to 3 seconds. So it's not connected to the internet, it's not Google, but in a way it's even more powerful than that. And it has me super hyped up. Like ever since I learned about blockchain, I don't think I've ever been so hyped up about anything. It's looking promising for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely made some big waves. Like Arno's been saying, like, if you've been on YouTube, you've probably heard like the intro to a video that's, sounds like a normal intro. And then all of a sudden, and they're like, by the way, this entire video was scripted by ChatGPT. Like how I've even seen videos like, how good is ChatGPT at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? And I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of interesting. And how's this going to change the game? Some people seem super afraid of it. Some people definitely like in the academic setting, it seems like it's making waves where people are just having it write essays for them. So there's issues there. But I think from an online business and marketing perspective, It's a very interesting tool, like Tony is saying, to be an assistant to help you. I think because there are some serious ethical and technical limitations to it, like you don't want to just have it write all your content for you. But hopefully we'll get into this a little bit later on, like how can you use it to help generate content ideas, how to, content ideas, brainstorming, maybe even outline certain content, things like that. It can be a super helpful assistant for, and I'm already seeing it in the industry with certain like content agencies or SEO agencies. They've already incorporated it into their system to help further advance their productivity. So those are kind of the things I'm interested in it for.
That's actually a perfect segue into our next question. So I wanted to ask you guys, what are some use cases for ChatGPT in marketing? Who would like to start us off?
I was going to say, I feel like ChatGPT is probably super effective as of today, mainly in the marketing space, because one of the main things that ChatGPT is stellar at doing is writing. And a lot of what makes up digital marketing is, writing, whether it's writing a blog post or writing an email or writing an outline or writing a marketing plan or writing a script. A lot of it is writing. And ChatGPT is so good at writing, and it's actually smart. It understands how to craft up marketing plans, marketing outlines. It knows what gets people to click through in an email. It knows what gets people to sign up to an opt-in form on your homepage. It really is that smart. And to be able to have to have an assistant like a virtual assistant help you out doing all of those things, it's sad to say, but I think that a lot of virtual assistant jobs are going to start fading away because a lot of that job is getting taken care of by this thing. In a way, it's sad, but in another way, it's great for entrepreneurs because they can get really quality work done within minutes.
So true. So true. In fact, I've played with it and I kind of felt like it might replace our jobs because I put in a prompt of, can you tell me the difference between single and double opt-ins in marketing? And it gave me a pretty impressive blog post. So I have to admit, it had me a little worried. But what do you think, Arno? What are some use cases for ChatGPT in marketing?
It can do any video editing yet, so I think I'm safe with my job. But who knows how long it will take. I think for me the biggest thing is chatbots. I remember a meme where a guy says to the chatbot of PayPal, like, hey, I got scammed, and then the chatbot answered, great. And then it disconnected, and I'm like, that doesn't help. So for me, I think like the most powerful thing that ChatGPT can do for like bigger businesses is like power their chatbots and just create like real human-like responses. But when where people actually just feel like they got an answer to their question, and I think it's not that difficult for ChatGPT to arrive at that stage where it's like almost as good as a human sitting behind a computer.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent point that you're bringing up, Arno. I mean, actually, we can even provide a real life scenario example about what you just described. I mean, if we put it in terms of something that happens at Thrive Themes, we have this huge knowledge base of documents about how to use our tools, but a lot of our customers just don't want to go through the hassle of looking for an answer. And so they may go through our official support channel and ask a question about something that they don't know the answer to. Now, how cool and awesome would it be to be able to have a chatbot on our website that you can just talk to, that you can just ask anything about any of our tools, like, hey, what is the more efficient way of using content boxes, and have this chatbot assistant give you a crystal clear response of how should you be using these content boxes, or a 3-column layout, or just any widget inside Thrive Architect, or how, what is the best way of combining the power of Thrive Leads and Thrive Architect? I mean, we are so close to having that happen that I'm excited.
What do you think, Matt? What are some use cases for ChatGPT that you can think of?
Well, I've already seen it used on our team a little bit for like pre-production purposes. So Arno's been working on like a promo video for us for Bookwise, which is our latest companion theme for Thrive Theme Builder for indie authors. And so he, instead of waiting on the marketing team to get copy, he sort of used ChatGPT to get placeholder copy for each of the different scenes of the promo video. And I was like, damn, there were a few pieces of copy I was like, no, we need to edit this, but there were a few that I was like, hey, this kind of works. And in terms of like a speed of production for the team, you know, instead of the video editor having to wait on copywriters to get copy back to then, you know, direct certain scenes or set up certain scenes, you can even just use placeholder text that's probably pretty close or around what we want to use. And then the copywriters and the editors on the team can come in and like tweak things as we go. So we're already seeing on our own team uses like that are speeding up our production process. And ideally will help us produce and publish content at a higher rate, which will hopefully have a nice little return on investment for our business for, at least right now, what is a free tool.
So I also want to ask you guys, how do you think ChatGPT differs from some of the other AI products already on the market, such as Word Hero, PepperType, or Jasper? Have any of you guys tried any of those out? I'll take that as a no. So
I did a little.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just jump in
like
because I know you may have some.
Okay.
You have some experience, Tony, but I did an interview with one of our Thrive Themes customers, or Thrive Suite customers, maybe a year or so ago, and he was using Jasper quite a bit as an affiliate marketer to help him produce content. And from what it seemed like, he had a pretty successful affiliate marketing business that really hinged on content. So I do know Jasper's been out there for a while, helping people who need to produce content kind of do it as a solo affiliate marketing business at a really at a nice clip that actually was profitable for them. So that's I do know of like even Thrive Suite customers using tools like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard of Jasper a few times now, and it seems to me like it's just ChatGPT on steroids for marketers. Like with ChatGPT, if you want to craft up a marketing plan, for example, you need to be talking to ChatGPT and explaining what it is that you're trying to do. Whereas with Jasper, it is so focused on helping digital marketers that it already knows what the outline for your blog post has to be or has to look like. It already knows how many H2 tags you need to have for that particular blog post. It knows how many images you should have throughout your blog post, and it's more intended and oriented. It's like I said, it's kind of like ChatGPT but on steroids for digital marketers, which is great. Only problem is that it does seem like it's a little bit pricey. So I guess it's just a question of waiting. Do you want to invest in an AI assistant or not? Does the pros of having Jasper already supercharged with the knowledge of what you're trying to do in the digital marketing landscape outweigh the fact that ChatGPT is something that you have to engage with in a conversation for it to understand what it is that you're trying to do?
Yeah, I've actually tried Word Hero just for fun, just to see if it was any good, and I wanted to compare it to ChatGPT. I will say that ChatGPT was a lot easier for me to get exactly what I wanted because I could type in, write me a blog post about, whatever, versus if you go to something like Word Hero, it's a little bit more difficult to use. And I've also noticed that the quality of the writing that you get back isn't as good on, ChatGPT is better than Word Hero, at least in my experience. I also wanted to mention that there's also AI tools out there for specific marketing tasks. For example, CapShow is a really, really fantastic tool for podcasters. All you have to do is upload a audio file of your podcast, and then CapShow will put together your show notes, a blog post, your emails, a transcript, a YouTube description, and lots more. So that's a really fantastic tool. It's a huge time saver. I would definitely encourage podcasters out there to check out CapShow. Arno, did you want to weigh in on this or no?
Yeah, I think I can only confirm what you were saying, that the ChatGPT is in the most part just better at generating responses, and I think it mostly has to do with the amount of training data it has gotten. Like there's no other language model right now that has gotten so much training data, so it's difficult for the other AI tools just to catch up with it. It is a pretty big company, OpenAI, so they received a lot of money, a lot of investment, so it is difficult to fight with them. And yeah, one other thing I want to add is that they're all pretty fenced off products. Like they can do one thing really good, as to ChatGPT the possibilities are quite limitless actually, because you can retrain the model and fine tune the model. So that's something that for example, Jasper or Word Hero cannot do. Like you get what you pay for, and there's not more. You cannot change the product.
Now, I have a question for you guys, and I guess this is more of an opinion than maybe fact. But if marketers all start using ChatGPT for content, do you think everybody's content will start to appear the same?
I've bumped into a couple of instances where I've maybe seen someone type out a prompt inside ChatGPT, and just for the sake of having fun with this thing, I typed the same exact prompt and I've gotten the same exact answer from it, but they were kind of really broad, they were kind of really specific questions. If you're trying to do something unique in a way, like if you're asking ChatGPT, hey, write a blog post about the pros or cons of using, security over WordFence or vice versa, I don't think you're going to get the same exact identical blog post, even though it's a very niche prompt. The best way around making sure that doesn't happen is to use a plagiarism detector. I mean, that never goes wrong.
Well, I have some thoughts on that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the content that will really succeed will be the content that's very useful and engaging and entertaining. So I think this is a word of caution to people who want to use ChatGPT, not to just do, lazy college student copy paste for your exam essay for your own business's content. You should really think about it like another tool, a productivity tool, and maybe even a creativity assistant in terms of helping you come up with topic ideas, what's trending, potential outlines for your content, so you're hitting all the bases of what you need to include in a good piece of content for it to be ranked on the search engines. But then at the end of the day, you should really try to develop your writing skills so your unique voice comes through. And I think we've talked about this in previous chat conversations where, one of the marketing trends at the same time ChatGPT is coming out, one of the marketing trends we think we're really seeing is authenticity. So if you're relying on a tool like ChatGPT too heavily, you risk losing your unique voice. And in my view, you risk losing your unique audience that really enjoys the way you present and deliver content and your own unique takes and perspectives on things. So it's a balance in terms of, if you want to be successful in content marketing, you need to really think about ChatGPT like a tool and not over rely on it. And at the same time, make sure you're always developing your voice, always developing your own perspectives. Because my feeling is there will be a bit of a convergence, that content, sort of lazy content marketing will start to converge and sound more and more like ChatGPT. And you don't want to be one of those marketers. You don't want to be one of those businesses necessarily. You want to use it like a tool, help it bring out your voice and not have it become ChatGPT's voice. That's sort of the balance. And whenever a new technology comes out, we always got to think about those sorts of things and how we can use it productively, but kind of keep the balance on on still being engaging, entertaining, authentic, unique, because that's really what's going to rank, I think.
So it sounds to me like you can use ChatGPT to maybe start an outline for a blog post and then you can elaborate on it. Or maybe you can even have ChatGPT write the entire blog post, but then maybe you put it in your own words. So my next question is, can you train ChatGPT so that you can get better results?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the short answer here is yes. The long answer is no. Let me explain. I don't think most of the people watching our videos, being solopreneurs, have the knowledge to retrain ChatGPT themselves. So that's the no part of the answer. But the yes part of the answer is that, yeah, if you hire a developer or a data scientist who is really good at deep learning, then it's definitely possible. Yeah, for example, they can download like a pre-trained model, let's say for the medical field, and they can just feed it medical books and articles and everything related to the medical field they're in, and just have that as a training set for ChatGPT. And whenever you ask it a question, it will only get its answers from that training set that you give it. So for marketing, yeah, when the same things Tony said a little bit earlier, let's say for Thrive Teams, we want to feed it our knowledge base, and then people can just ask questions, and it will only get answers from the knowledge base. So you won't get any answers that could be used on Thrive, but you get answers that are specifically for Thrive. So. Like I said, a developer can probably do it, but yeah, keep in mind that it won't be a cheap option to retrain ChatGPT, because you need a lot of knowledge to first do it, and then like a whole lot of computer power to actually train the model again. So so you can do it, but probably not everyone can actually do it.
Tony, did you have some thoughts that you wanted to share with us too?
Yeah, without being a deep learning expert, my answer was going to be, if you're a solopreneur and you're just at home playing with ChatGPT, what I would encourage you to try to do is ask better prompts. That's a very good start. And I've actually, I bump into this very often with ChatGPT, where I ask the thing a question and it comes up with an answer that makes sense, but that doesn't actually answer my question because I wasn't specific enough about what it was that I was asking. So just start by having a conversation with I keep bumping into this problem. I don't know how to call this thing. It's her, him. Just start talking to this thing. And as you start talking with it, you'll get better at asking better questions. And that's probably a good start,
Awesome.
It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy dilemma.
Right.
Have you guys ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they ask this supercomputer what's the meaning of life or something like that, and then it spits out an answer 42, and then I guess the takeaway is like, the answer doesn't mean much if you're not asking a good question or the right question. If you don't know what the question is, like you could get an answer, but it won't mean much. I think that's an interesting comment, hearing from you, Tony, like having played with ChatGPT quite a bit. It's refining your ability to ask questions. And if there's one thing I've kind of learned from, super smart people or people who have been pretty successful, like that's the real skill they've developed, is always refining their ability to ask better and better questions. And if ChatGPT is helping you do that, not only are you getting better responses from ChatGPT, but you're also, I think you're also refining this really important skill that can help your own thinking and thought processes, whether it comes to working on your business or creating content or whatever it might be. So that's actually a really interesting point to think about.
So it sounds to me like you guys have found some pretty good uses for ChatGPT in marketing. I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just as a as a general question, is ChatGPT going to change the landscape of online marketing? Do you think, and to take it even further, do you think our jobs might even be at risk?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is, well, I will say this. I don't think ChatGPT is going to suddenly replace thousands of jobs, no. But I do think it's for sure going to change the landscape, not just for marketing. It's going to change the world eventually. I mean, I keep going back to this analogy. I do think we're very close to having our very own Jarvises at home. Jarvis is Tony Stark's assistant. I really think that very soon we're going to be talking to our smart speakers in the same way that we're talking to ChatGPT. And we'll be able to tell our HomePods or Alexas, hey, open up a new tab in Safari and open it up with, open up my WordPress website and start creating a new page with Thrive Architect. I think we're not that far away from that happening. And it's going to happen. And that is, I think that's life-changing, not just in the digital marketing landscape, but it's going to change the world in many ways for sure.
I think when it comes to new technologies like this, let's say it really does become a new, fundamental piece of the way business is done around the world in all sorts of industries. Remember that when new technologies eliminate jobs, it usually creates new jobs. So I think back to, there were companies that paid people to go, like they have these big chalkboards, basically physical Excel spreadsheets on a chalkboard, and their job was to write numbers in each of the cells. And there was somebody that actually got paid to do that. Now, if along comes computers and Excel, and that job's no longer here, but now you have people who are super adept at using Excel, and now there's a job for them. And doing kind of higher level work where instead of your job is just to write on a chalkboard numbers very accurately, now you've got people that are like creating amazing Excel spreadsheets that can do all sorts of crazy stuff. And so it's just like the job landscape changes. So I'm never really worried in terms of like when jobs become like kind of not necessary anymore. It just opens up a new set of jobs that allows for higher value and higher productivity. So you just have to be adaptable to that changing landscape. And that's why I always advocate for personal growth and skill development, because then you'll keep your adaptability through time. So that's one thing to think about there. But at the same time, I'm also very bullish on the quirkiness of humanity. And what I mean by that is, computers can be programmed to do very specific things well, but humanity inputs this weird, quirky randomness into the equation that, is what generates art and entertainment and interesting novel ideas that these certain technologies can't really do. And that's the element where I still feel like you need a lot of like actual human input, especially when it comes to writing, generating ideas and perspectives that like obviously computers are getting better and better at, but I'm not worried in that sense, especially as like a writer and, like a content creator. It's like at some level, like what I'm hoping is the technology helps us create better content, better art, but there's at some level it just, I think the technologies can't replicate that quirkiness, that humanity exactly. So I'm kind of, I'm still bullish on that like human element. I think that will persist for quite some time.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Actually, I even had an idea when I first heard about ChatGPT. I thought, well, maybe you could just ask ChatGPT to write a script. You can have another program do like an AI voiceover. Then you can have another program do the AI video, and then you can throw up, YouTube videos. But I do agree with you that I've seen people try that sort of tactic, and the result isn't very good, honestly, at this point. I do think that the quirkiness and just having personality is a huge benefit, and I don't think that we're quite there yet. And I kind of hope that we never get there, that computers can't replicate our personalities, because that would be a little bit scary. Now, are there ethical considerations that people should keep in mind when they use ChatGPT for online marketing?
Yeah, I think the biggest one here is training set bias. Like everything stands or falls with the training data. So yeah, if your training data is bad, your output is going to be bad. But I think it's really important that the training set is diverse and representative. So yeah, for example, I think I read somewhere that 75% of developers are male, 25% are female, and of those, only 40% are not white. So yeah, it's something to consider, that your data has a high chance of being biased. So yeah, if your audience are Hispanic women, then the chances are there that ChatGPT is going to create an output that probably is not going to resonate that well culturally with Hispanic with an Hispanic audience. So it's something to keep in mind there. And then the other thing, not really connected to online marketing, but I think we have to keep in mind the misuse and abuse of ChatGPT. Like while we are using it for pretty harmless stuff, like come up with an outline for a video, for a blog post, other people are already using it to write phishing mails or to generate fake news, which is something that we really have to keep in mind. And I read an article with one of the founders, Sam, of OpenAI, who said that if it goes too far, they are ready to pull the plug on ChatGPT if the misuse becomes too high. So let's just hope we can all play well with it, so we can have nice things.
Yeah, I'll add on to what Arno is saying. I completely agree with what you said, and I want to touch on the academic side of things. I feel like ChatGPT is probably like the life dream for a lot of students, because all of a sudden they don't have to write their own essays and they don't have to do a lot of their own homework. But newsflash, just like we humans were very smart at creating something like ChatGPT, there are already tools that are extremely smart at detecting copywriting that has been provided by an artificial intelligence tool. And I've actually used some of them, and they are 100% accurate. It's I don't know how they do it. I guess it's just, artificial intelligence machines are trained to write in a specific style or something, but they are very good at detecting text that has been written by AI tools, which goes to say that I've heard and read already a lot of articles saying that Google will penalize eventually, people that rely exclusively on machines to write their own blog post or to write their own copy and stuff like that. So needless to say, I think it's very important that you still want to, or this is how I try to approach it. At least I still do the writing, and then I have ChatGPT be my assistant, like, have it check for grammar mistakes, have it check for spelling mistakes, see if you can optimize maybe for conversion. So see if you can come up with a stronger H2 heading for a particular section of your blog post. But I would still be very, very skeptical about not doing the work, because ChatGPT is there for you. I don't think that's going to be very beneficial in the long run.
I actually hope one of the things that comes out of this from an academic perspective is, education really shouldn't be about chasing grades, getting a perfect score. Like, education should be about learning and skill development, so you're adaptable for the future to come. That when a new technology comes out and it sort of evaporates a certain, job set, like, no big deal. I can, take that technology and jump into the next job set that it opens up. So, I felt this way for a long time, that education really needs to be self-motivated and self-driven. And it's kind of sad to see how society has turned into this like credentialized based merit system, in terms of like, only the people that go to the most elite institutions with perfect scores should be worthy of a particular job or being hired, when actually that's not an indicator of like how well they'll be able to do the job at all. In fact, I've seen a lot of hiring, especially by remote online companies. They're actually like, I don't really care where you went to school, don't care what your GPA was. Those things aren't really important. Here's a test piece of work I want you to go do, and we're going to evaluate that to see if you can actually do the work we're hiring you for. So I don't know, out of all of this, just because it seems like, the chasing of grades and using these tools to sort of cheat is becoming easier and easier, and like that's what's important. I hope we actually have a cultural shift back to, academics should be about learning and skill building and like developing yourself as a person. So who knows, like because of this, maybe we'll go back to that, and it'll be less about just getting like the right grades to get hired, rather than like, oh, this person actually can do these skills, like we really want to hire this person onto our team. Like who knows, that could be like a cool cultural ramification that down the road, as these powerful technologies become more and more common. I don't know.
All right, so does anyone have any final tips or advice for our audience members who are just starting to look into ChatGPT?
I think if you have to take one takeaway of everything we said, is that if you use ChatGPT, avoid using copy-paste. I think if you avoid using that, then you get a long way with everything it can create, and just use it as a helper, but not as like the final. Don't use the output and just drop it, paste it in a blog post and call it a day. Just make sure you only let it write an outline and use that outline to create your blog post and write your blog post yourself, for example. So use it as a helper, not as a full-time employee. So
yeah, I completely agree. I'm not sure I have anything else to say other than what Arno said. I would say embrace the technology because it's here and it's powerful and it's amazing. Just don't use it to skip the work. You still need to do the work, but embrace the technology. It's great. It's just make sure that you use it in a healthy way.
I think just to add to that, I agree with everything Tony and Arno said. Just remember that I think as we see people really keying into authenticity being one of the big things they follow brands and influencers for, like make sure you don't lose your voice using this tool. And I think if you use it the way Arno and Tony suggested, that won't happen. Like you'll use it as a productivity tool that will help you generate more ideas. You can have more of your own unique perspectives on. So just kind of make sure when you use these tools, stay true to yourself and your own unique perspectives and voice. So your content remains authentic.
Really sound advice. Thank you so much, Tony, Matt, and Arno. I think we covered a lot of ground here today, and I personally think that this was really helpful for me, and I think it's helpful for our audience as well. So I guess we can wrap it up here. That's all for today, folks. We hope you found this Thrive Themes chat on using ChatGPT for marketing useful. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and never miss a new update from us. And for more amazing tools to take your marketing to the next level, check out Thrive Suite. The link is in the description. Until next time, goodbye. By the way, that outro, written by ChatGPT.